There are places on this planet so strange, so utterly defiant of the rules we expect nature to follow, that the human mind struggles to categorize them. Places that look serene and beautiful from a distance, yet hide landscapes of chemical warfare, volcanic fury, and secrets so haunting they border on supernatural. Today we're traveling to one of the harshest, hottest, and most hostile bodies of water on Earth. A lake that burns, a lake that preserves, a lake where the dead do not decompose. They simply stop, freeze, and remain, staring forever into the red horizon. This is Lake Natron of northern Tanzania, a lake of fire, a lake of salt, a lake of stone. And the deeper you look, the stranger it becomes. Before we descend into the lake's secrets, picture this. You're standing in the East African Rift Valley, a massive scar stretching across the continent where the Earth's crust is literally tearing apart. Towering cliffs rise on either side, steam vents hiss from cracks in the ground. The air carries the faint smell of minerals and volcanic dust, and in the middle of this ancient wound lies a shallow lake that glistens like polished glass. From afar, Lake Natron looks peaceful, reflective, sparkling. But get closer and the illusion cracks. The air becomes hotter, almost shimmering. Salt flats crunch under your feet, and the lake's water, if you dare to touch it, feels slick, soapy, and dangerously caustic. This is no ordinary lake. This is an alkaline death trap, sculpted by a volcano that erupts not with lava, but with liquid black minerals almost alien to our planet. But let's start with the name, Natron. For thousands of years, natron, the mineral, was used by ancient Egyptians to mummify the dead. And here, in Tanzania, nature built an entire lake out of it. Lake Natron owes its existence to one geological monster, Ol Doinyo Lengai, the Mountain of God. This is the only volcano on Earth that erupts carbonatite lava, a bizarre, black, syrupy substance that has more in common with melted candle wax than molten rock. It is the coolest lava on Earth, only about 1100 degrees Fahrenheit. And its chemical composition is unique. When this lava cools, it crumbles into ash rich in sodium carbonate, sodium bicarbonate, calcium carbonate, potassium salts, and other alkaline minerals. Rainfall washes these minerals downhill, funneling them directly into Lake Natron. Over centuries, the lake became a massive cauldron of sodium carbonate, the very same mineral Egyptians used to dry out corpses. But add Tanzania's blistering heat, brutal evaporation, and a climate that favors dryness, and all the ingredients combine to form a lake with pH levels of up to 12. That's the same as ammonia. Water temperatures up to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Salt levels higher than the Dead Sea. Enough alkalinity to burn skin on contact. This lake isn't just inhospitable, it is actively corrosive. This is the part that made Lake Natron world famous. If an animal dies and falls into Natron's waters, the combination of heat, salt, and alkalinity removes moisture with shocking speed. The tissues tighten, the skin hardens, even delicate structures, feathers, eyelids, and whiskers remain nearly intact. The bodies wash ashore as though frozen in time, not fossilized, not petrified, but mummified. Air-dried, salt-hardened, chemically preserved. They look like statues, stiff, pale, and hauntingly detailed. These stone birds gained global attention after photographer Nick Brandt captured them with stunning clarity. But people misunderstood the images, believing the lake petrified animals instantly. The truth is stranger. Natron preserves bodies almost exactly as they were at death, creating natural relics of animals caught off guard. And these preserved bodies can last for years, sitting along the shoreline like eerie guardians watching over the crimson water. Imagine walking along the shore at dusk with hundreds of silent, perfectly intact mummified birds perched on rocks. A landscape frozen in death. One of Lake Natron's most surreal features is its color. In dry months, the water turns deep red, even blood red. But the cause isn't minerals or rust, it's alive. The lake is home to extremophiles, haloarchaea, microorganisms that flourish where normal life immediately dies. These microbes produce a red pigment called bacterial rhodopsin, which they use to absorb sunlight and generate energy. As the water evaporates and the salt concentration spikes, these organisms multiply rapidly, turning the lake into a giant red basin visible from space. Alongside them grows spirulina, a blue-green algae rich in beta-carotene. This algae is what gives flamingos their vibrant pink feathers. The lake that kills most life creates the perfect food source for one of Africa's most iconic species. And that brings us to the paradox. Lake Natron is the single most important breeding ground on Earth for the lesser flamingo, the smallest and most fragile flamingo species. Up to 2.5 million flamingos depend on natron each breeding season. But why choose the harshest lake in Africa? Because predators can't tolerate it. Jackals won't cross it, hyenas avoid it. Even most birds cannot stand the caustic shallows. Lake Natron is a natural fortress. During breeding season, flamingos build nests of hardened mud, small raised cones that keep their eggs above the scorching salty crust. The parents wade through the caustic water that would burn human skin. Their tough legs evolved to withstand the alkalinity. But this life is delicate. If water levels drop too low, nests crack and fail. If levels rise too high, eggs drown. If rainfall shifts even slightly, entire colonies can collapse. Natron doesn't just give life, it demands a brutal price for it. The balance is razor thin. A single dry month or a heavy rainstorm can rewrite the future of a species. Natron is often described as a mirror lake because on calm days its surface becomes glass smooth, reflecting the sky with perfect clarity. But this perfection comes from its chemical composition. Salt water, when extremely concentrated, smooths itself out because saline density dampens wave formation. Natron water becomes so dense that even wind struggles to disturb it. At sunrise, the lake becomes a dimensionless split, the sky above, the sky below, a thin salty walkway in between. It's one of the most surreal landscapes on Earth, a place where people genuinely report losing their sense of direction because the horizon simply disappears. Yet beneath that peaceful reflection lies a chemical tempest capable of dissolving skin and scorching flesh. And that contradiction, beauty hiding violence, is Natron's essence. Scientists have studied Lake Natron for decades because it mimics early Earth conditions, the kind suspected to have dominated our planet 3 to 4 billion years ago. Chemical-rich, scalding hot, loaded with minerals and salts, harsh, chaotic, alive, but barely. Microbes that thrive in Natron offer clues to how the first living organisms survived in punishing conditions long before oxygen was plentiful. Studying Natron helps us understand how life might survive on other planets, how ancient organisms adapted to extreme environments, what biological limits actually are, which chemical processes support survival at the edge. Biologists have even compared Natron's chemistry to environments on Mars, speculating that if life ever existed on the Red Planet, it might have looked like the extremophiles thriving in Tanzania today. So when you peer into Lake Natron, you're peering into both the past and the possible future of life beyond Earth. It's tempting to think that Natron simply keeps humans away, but local communities, particularly the Maasai, have lived near the lake for centuries. To the Maasai, Natron is both feared and respected. It is a place of spirits, of cleansing, of danger. They herd livestock along its outer regions, but do not enter the water itself. Tourists who ignore the warnings frequently learn the hard way that Natron's stunning beauty hides a serious threat. Walking barefoot on Natron's salt crust is like walking on sharp, chemical-coated blades. The crust often collapses, plunging feet into burning alkaline mud. Stories circulate of travelers emerging with chemical burns after only minutes in the water. Even boats disintegrate within a season unless specially coated, because the lake eats away at most metals and natural fibers. But that hasn't stopped curious researchers, photographers, and adventurers from braving Natron's edge, drawn by its mystery, its danger, and its impossible beauty. Lake Natron is stable in its harshness, but not immune to change. Climate shifts pose a serious threat. If rainfall decreases, the lake could shrink dramatically, destroying flamingo breeding grounds. If rainfall increases, the lake could dilute, losing its protective chemistry. Both scenarios put millions of flamingos at risk. Worse, proposals in the past to build soda ash factories near the lake sparked global outcry. Such mining could destabilize the entire ecosystem. Conservationists argue that Lake Natron may look deadly to us, but it is a cradle of life for the species found nowhere else on Earth. If Natron falls, so do the flamingos, and with them, one of Earth's most dramatic natural cycles. Lake Natron is more than a lake. It is a contradiction carved into the earth, a mirror of the sky, filled with water that burns. A lake that kills animals, but preserves them in perfect stillness. A landscape that destroys, but also protects millions of birds. A window into Earth's past, and perhaps into alien worlds. A place of brilliant color, born from chemical violence. It reminds us that nature does not bend to our expectations, nor does it try to comfort us. Nature simply is powerful, merciless, stunning, and endlessly inventive. And there, in northern Tanzania, lies one of its greatest masterpieces. A lake of fire, a lake of stone, a lake of life clinging to the edge of survival. Lake Natron stands as a testament to the wild creativity of our planet and the haunting beauty that emerges where nothing should live at all. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, and share for more medical and science madness. This is Dr. Pox, where the truth is stranger than fiction.